Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of our event series at Veertly. For today's event, we have a very special guest. Dave Delaney will be here. Dave is the author of the book New Business Networking, a keynote speaker, and he advises tech companies like Google and LinkedIn. So welcome Dave on stage. It's an honor to having you on our show.
You learn not to fear failure as much. You learn to actively listen, and you learn to lead with acceptance by using yes and, or using a yes and sort of mindset. And I can talk more about that if you like. But those all apply to networking. They apply to business. I mean, when I meet somebody at a networking event, I want to make them feel like they're the only ones in the room, or the only one in the room. That's always my goal. So when I'm speaking to someone one-on-one, I don't bring out my phone. I don't look over their shoulder at other people, and I do my best to listen to them. There's an anagram for silent, or for listen, which is silent. Go figure. And so I always try to listen and really actively listen, and that, as it applies to improv, again, that's a very important step in performing with other people, because you need to be listening actively to what your fellow performers are saying on stage so that you can follow along, and what the audience recommend and give you as well. I always say the three most important steps in networking is to show up, to follow up, and to catch up. And so what I mean by that, especially in person, but of course nowadays we're doing a lot of these things virtually, but the first step is to show up. And so if that's virtually or in person at a conference or a networking event, it's easy to sometimes skip out on things. And so the first step is to show up, to go to the actual event. The second is to follow up. So after you've met somebody, whether you've exchanged, maybe you received their business card, or maybe you jotted down their information, or connected on LinkedIn, or whatever you did, following up after meeting them is really important. So follow up is the second most important. And a lot of times people do that. They go to a conference, they go to a networking event, they meet tons of people. They may have a big stack of business cards on their desk, the next day. And then the longer they leave it, the less likely they're going to remember anything about the people they met and be able to connect the business card to the face or to the person. So following up is very important. And then finally catching up, which means making sure that you catch up from time to time. If you use a CRM for that helps. Or even on your calendar. One thing I do is review my sent emails. So I take a look at the emails I sent in the previous month or 6 months, and then I follow up with those people and catch up with those people again. A good thing to do is, if it's an annual conference, let's say, following up with or catching up with those people maybe a few weeks or a month before that, the next year, the next conference, to check in with them and say, hey, I was thinking about you. Are you going to be at conference XYZ? I would love to see you there. So that's another step. So showing up, following up, and catching up. So I mentioned I studied. So Second City is where I studied. They have a school, and Second City is sort of world famous for improv, specifically for improv and sketch comedies. I did a presentation which is now called the Master Communicator's Secret Weapon. And this presentation is all about taking the key skills from improv and applying them to the way you communicate with the stakeholders in your business, even with your friends and family for that matter. And I'm not talking about performing. I'm not suggesting you have to perform improv or even study it. But what I've learned is the secret weapon of communicating really effectively is by using skills learned from improv. And so that presentation is called the Master Communicator's Secret Weapon. So I work with different companies. In the past, it's been in person, and hopefully it will be again, where I do workshops with team members to teach them how to communicate better. And a lot of that comes from improv, but then there's other factors as well, depending on the client. And I wrote a little ebook, which you guys can get for free, by the way. It's called Improve with Improv. And if you go to nicemaker.co, Nicemaker, that's my weekly email newsletter. And when you're a new subscriber, you get the copy of that book for free. And I think it's about $10 usually. So yeah, if you're interested, you should definitely check it out.
So I can recommend all of you guys definitely go and check it out. I've also had a quick look at it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Really nice content.
Well, Networking for Nice People is a website dedicated to just bringing people together who are nice. So if you're nice, you can drop by. There's lots of great content there. I blog a lot there, and on my own personal blog as well, about networking best practices, how we can do a better job at serving our communities. The key thing with networking is it's a two-way street, and so we don't give with the intention of just receiving. That's not networking. Networking is really going above and beyond to support your community and to help people, sometimes without asking for anything else in return, just being nice. And what's great about that, call it karma, call it whatever you want, but when you plant these seeds, good things come as a result of that. And so Networking for Nice People is a website dedicated to that.
Cool. Some very nice closing words. So some virtual applause for Dave here. So thanks a lot. It was really a pleasure to having you here. Thanks for your time. And I can recommend everyone to check out your site, your books, and we will also link them to make sure people will find it.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
That was Dave Delaney talking about networking, about improv comedy, about the secret weapon of communication. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to connecting with you and to network with you at the next event at Veertly. Thanks a lot for your attention. That was it for today. Have a lovely day and see you later.